And what's up, guys? Welcome back to another home theater hangout with myself. And we've got a couple of guests today. Let's bring them on. We got Digital Don, and we got first time Mr. Scott Newby, also a pretty prominent YouTube figure. Let's give him the.
I'm waiting. Oh my God! Oh, that's beautiful, guys. Thanks. All right, I'll see you guys next week.
You deserve it. You deserve it, Scott.
Got a veal.
So we wanted to have Scott on today because of how many subwoofers do you have over there, Scott?
All of them.
All of them? Oh shit!
All the bass.
Well, I got 10 of the dual 18 cabinets in the theater. I got 4 of the single 18 sealed in the living room upstairs. So 24 18s in house. Oh, and then I got the pro audio sub sitting in the hallway. So yeah, we got a few laying around here. Bunch of
he's got a lot.
26.
Yeah.
What's how are you gonna feel let down if they come out with a 24-inch version of your subwoofer? How are you gonna feel about that?
No, I'll be fine. Just because the way that the subwoofers are used as stands to hold speakers and how the screen fits around it is the design and ergonomics are just, I mean, perfect. The room was purposely built with SPL in mind. I wanted 4 seats. I wanted a certain viewing angle on the screen, and then I just started filling the room up with speakers and subwoofers from that point. So I'm assuming at some point, there'll be 21s or 24s or 33s or something dropped, and I'll certainly check them out. But no, I don't know. It's
I sense the FOMO in you already, Scott.
I might do it in a different room in the house.
Well, aren't you going to do the new JTR smaller footprint speakers around a TV?
Yeah, Kat and I want to do the Kalos line in the other living room when that drops. Just in our family room we have the RTJ stack, but in the living room nobody sits in there for any reason. And we're a big music-driven family. I think that we get a nice little 5.2 setup in there or something, playing some music, concerts, DVDs, and we'll use that space a lot more. It's really an unused space in the house right now. So, but no, I think they haven't really dropped a whole bunch of information. Obviously, I've seen the Kalos in person, but I don't know what they're doing exactly for subs or anything with it yet. So I think some of that stuff's still in the developmental stage. But it's going to have a real nice finish to it and be more living room friendly and stuff like that. So it'll be cool.
Interesting. So I think the big thing with on your channel that I always see is that you're always, what are you trying to hit? 142 dB or something like that in your room?
Well, I mean, the current chase right now is 160. So we're currently at 156.2 was the loudest we got on a term lab, and that isn't on any kind of burp or anything like that. That's during an actual song. Oh, that's Kat.
Oh, I got Miss Newbie in the house.
Yeah,
Hello, Miss Newbie.
Hey, Kat.
So if she knew everything that I knew, she'd be here and she'd be a lot better to look at. And everybody, I mean, your subscriber count would 10 times.
That is for damn sure.
Yeah, now they see me and Don on here and they're like, oh,
That's
shit.
right. That's right. You're like, oh, turn the channel.
So, yeah, basically, I don't know. I'm really at a crossroad right now. So it's cool that that both setups are done. We get a lot of people in, literally from all over the place, and now even from, I mean, we've had people from India. We got a couple coming from Finland that want to come and experience it. So it's strange. Wow. Yeah, it's strange, because for our next Bass Brings Us Together, a guy reached out and said, hey, it's kind of a big deal for me and my wife to come from Finland. I want to put in all the work. Just want to make sure, that you can host to us if that's cool. And so they're going to come in. But so the whole point of this channel, which it's strange how this all happened, is I never thought in a million years to start a YouTube channel. It's literally for years just been me, myself, or me and my buddies, everybody just playing with their systems or hanging out with each other. And it wasn't really until Youthman came over and videotaped the system and was at one of the events. And he's like, man, what do this is insane that like you're getting so many people over here that want to check this out. And I always just kind of joke around with them like, yeah, well, the base brought us all together, and it's literally just stuck. So we ran that for years now, and somebody tried to steal it and do some merch. So then Kat and I ended up having to open an LLC. So it's an actual business now, but we don't know what we're going to end up doing with it. But at least we own the rights to the name and all that, so that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I got a new channel coming out, and it's a fishing channel. Freshwater. We're gonna call it Bass Brings It Together. I might just buy some of your shirts, man. Just pretend like they're mine.
Well, it'll be weird with the subwoofer on the back, but I mean, I appreciate the sale because I make like $5 off each shirt. I'll send you a link.
I got it. I got the link.
So yeah, so when Michael came and seen, he goes, man, he's like, this is really addicting. Like, he's like, you need to share this. He's like, because there's people doing a lot of reviews and checking out a bunch of stuff. I was like, I don't have interest in that. There's already some really good people out there doing that. He's like, no, just like this community kind of stuff. So I started a YouTube channel basically just based on that, just documenting stuff that we already have or stuff that we bought or other people's systems I go check out, and just getting people's reactions and their thoughts when they come over. And it's really just kind of blown up more than, me and Kat just kind of sit around and chuckle because me and Kat been together for 13 years. And when I first met her, I had Sherwin Vegas subs floor to ceiling. There was speakers everywhere. And I was like, oh, hey, this weekend these guys are going to come by and we're going to check everything out. And she's like, just you and a bunch of boys hang out together on the weekends and play with radios with each other. And she's like, that might be one of the strangest things I've ever heard. And then now she's one of the guys when it comes to this. A lot of people in the community know her. All our big events, she helps host. She's also half owner of Base Brings Us Together, and any move that I make, we talk about it, we chat about it. She's certainly a big part of it. So it's been a lot of fun, certainly overwhelming. I just made an announcement last night on our channel that next year I'm going to involve some more houses because when I dropped information for the Base Brings Us Together get together in May, like right around Christmas time, we had like 300 people respond to us by the end of the night. We took like the first 70, because we did 70 last year and it was a lot of people. 70 people is a lot of people to go through your house in one day. So next year we open it up. I got some really close friends of mine that have some awesome systems that are all around Chicagoland. So we're going to involve like 3 or 4 or 5 houses next year and then try to double the count. And I don't know, we're just learning a lot as we go. We're not taking anything super, super seriously. We just trying to have fun, have a good time.
Well, that's the secret to your success is that you just do it for the love. And people know that. You know what I mean? They know people that are just in it, for the money or this and that, or people that are in it for the passion. And I think that's a big draw. Plus, everybody likes watching you and Kat together. You guys are an amazing couple. She's a kick-ass girl. Our
OnlyFans has been killing it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just talking about the stereo stuff. Oh, no, I'm kidding. We don't have an OnlyFans.
My coupon.
Yeah.
No, it's a cool movement, man. I dig it. I really do.
Yeah, we didn't realize how popular it was.
Do you feel any kind of way? As your channel grows and you want to bring more people into your house, do you feel any kind of strangeness that may occur with having all these weird men in your home, or what?
Well,
I would feel
we get a lot of women. We get a surprising amount of women over too. Definitely more males, but I don't have the exact count on me, but we've given over 500 demos over the last couple of years. So basically, it's usually a friend of a friend or somebody that knows somebody, and obviously we do some kind of background, but we live in a pretty decent neighborhood, and if somebody was gonna, and people also know that we got firearms and stuff around, and there's 70 other people here. If you're
you're like 7'3", you know what I mean?
Yeah, knock on wood that out of the 5 years that we've been publicly hosting, we've never had an issue. And the whole house is secured, cameras and all that stuff. I mean, and everything's down in the basement and stuff too. I mean, you're not just going to walk in my house and walk
Yeah.
out with a 300-pound
What are
subwoofer.
they going to do? That's my thing. Is people like, can't believe you let people in your house. I'm like, everything we're stealing is either in a safe or too big. You need a team of mules to carry out.
Yeah, and and people are surprised that we do these events in an actual neighborhood, but I've never had a problem with. I give the neighbors a heads up. I mean, I have a food truck pull out front and cook food for everybody, and the neighbors always invited to everything. And I'm respectable. On our demo days, we run from like 10 a.m. to like 8 p.m. Um, and I do demo days fairly often where 4 8 people will come over about every month or every other month, and then we do our huge get together every year. But I mean never had an issue, so hopefully it stays that way.
Hopefully too. I mean, I would feel a little weird about that, or just like if I went out of the house or something like that, and I would come back and like my turn off was gone or something like that. I feel a little weird. I feel really pissed. So I
Well,
mean,
so
stuff like
like
that.
so
You're
like
antisocial.
out of the 70 guys, I always keep a core group of guys. So, which during our big event, usually like we got Mark Seaton's here. I'm good friends with Mark Seaton. Jeff from JTR is usually here. Michael Stevens is usually here. I mean, I got probably 15 or 18 guys that are always here. Plus, Cat's always in the house. So usually, I mean, a lot of people that are into high end home theater or two channel or anything, those aren't the guys that are coming over to most of our people. And this is funny because I just seen Michael Stevens respond to somebody the other day. He's like, man, I wish I lived closer. Mike's like, I fly in for every event. And he's like, most people drive from long
There's
distances
Michael. He's
or
here.
fly. Oh, is he here?
Yeah, the man, the
I do
myth,
feel
the
weird
legend.
leaving the house.
Yeah, Shane's an introvert. We call it the Hermit Kingdom or the Hermit Theater.
Oh,
You
see, I'm out all
North
day in
Korea.
Chicago and doing sewers and stuff. Man, I run into everybody, and we see a lot of crazy shit with guns and drugs every day, running rampant and car crashes and fires and shootouts. I just
Wow.
stopped at a Walgreens 2 days ago. I couldn't even get out of the Walgreens because there's 30 cops there. Everybody was shooting at each other. So I
What?
don't know. And I'm just sitting there listening to the radio, waiting for that stuff to be over. So
Chicago.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. Now I feel kind of weird about it, Shane. Events are done. We're closed.
He does that. That's what Shane does. Always the little comment to get in your head, dude. I trust me.
Just little things I think about.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Well, a lot
People
of
are always like, "Hey, can I come to your house, Shane, and check out?" I'm like, "No, man." I was like, "You can come to my house."
I don't even like the mailman pulling up in front of my house.
What?
So,
Did you hear that noise? Did you hear a noise? Did you hear a noise? What is that? Check the camera.
How big is that? How big is your room, by the way?
this room is actually fairly small. It's a little weird shape, but it's roughly about 14 by 16 feet with 8-foot ceilings. 11 channel, a full JTR setup, 11 channel Atmos setup with a total of 2018s.
Oh, wait, did you give me the measure? What was the size of it?
14 by 16 with 8-foot
Oh,
ceilings.
okay.
How many
And
watts?
you got all those? You got all those subs in there?
Yeah,
Jeez.
floor to ceiling in some spots, behind the seats, under the screen, sides of the room. Yeah. So,
That's his wallpaper.
Is there ever a desire to like get a bigger place?
well, I could have made this room twice the size. The other half of this basement is a kid's room, but the thing
Oh,
is,
got you.
I knew what SPL I was going is I wanted to be at a 150 or above. So obviously, I wanted to keep the space big enough that I could fit 4 people and do what I wanted to do, having a full Atmos setup. If I make it bigger, then I got to buy more stuff.
I don't see you having a problem with that.
Well, no, I mean, and this is a weird thing to say, but this is the biggest problem that I currently have is if I want to really step up and get any more dB or any more loudness out of the system, I have to have another 200 amp service ran to the house. Because right now, we're fine during a movie or even loud music playback, because all the subs in here are 240 volt. So, but if I do like a sine wave, or if I try to get really, really too crazy, then we blow the whole house breaker.
What's the normal? Because I see you're doing like movie reviews too. Like, what's your normal listening level? How loud do you typically listen at?
Like if a new Transformers movie or something comes out, and Cat and I, because she'll watch all the new movies like that. We usually listen like 4 or 5 below reference with the subs 12 dB hot. So
Okay, yeah, all right. So I mean, I guess that's a little loud.
yeah,
I'm like 10 or 15 below like reference level. Then
yeah,
I'm just like, oh man, it's getting loud.
yeah. I might be partially deaf, so but I did fairly well on a hearing test not too long ago. But and then obviously I'll rewatch a part of a movie that I thinks deserves to be cranked up and check it out. But no, like during our demo days when the guys come over, I mean, we're always, granted, everybody comes by because we offer the extreme experience, so we don't really take it easy on anybody. We do like a 20 or 25-minute demo reel that's all at reference level with the subs 14 dB hot. And then at the end of that, for the guys that want to check it out of that group of people, then we hit them with a song at like 150.
Crazy.
So
Don, have
Here,
you been to Scott's house?
no, not yet.
No, not yet.
I've only seen it about 1,000,000 times, but I've not
Yeah,
had the honor of going there yet. Soon, I'm going to go to Expona this year, so I'll definitely check it out. You should go with me, Shane.
I'll consider
you
it.
don't like to leave the house.
I'll think about
I'll
it.
come. He's
I'll
like,
think
if he
about it.
can't drive,
Listen,
what? It's
I
a
drove to
free
Audio Advice that
job.
1 year. Was that 2 years ago? Are you going to Audio Advice this year, Don?
Yeah,
Okay. You and
yeah.
you driving or are you taking a plane?
I'll probably. Well, I don't know. I might go with Gene. We might just fly this year because I drove. I usually drive, but
Yeah.
yeah.
You going there, Scott?
No, I'll probably swing by Expona, um, but no, I won't be going to Audio Vice. That Expona is only 45 minutes away, so that's cool. But and I went to M Wave when M Wave was going on. That was like an 8 hour drive for me. But my work schedule is crazy, and I try to get out to Vegas a couple times a year, and we go to Mexico now. So I do a lot of traveling and stuff already. So and works insane for us most of the time. So.
Is there going to be an M wave this year again?
No, I don't think there's gonna be an M Wave this year. Ryan's talking about hosting one next year, but I haven't heard any details about it.
Copy.
So you got some so you recently got some new mono blocks. How those working out, and is that
Well,
just is that on your 2 channel setup or is that for your subs downstairs?
No, that's on the RTJ. So the RTJ package, they come with RTJ amps for the subwoofers already, but you're required to power the mids and the highs for the center section. And I mean, rest in peace to Tommy O'Brien because I had one of his cherry amplifiers in, which was absolutely amazing. But he was working on a pair of mono blocks for me, and then he passed. Um, but the amp that I was using was really underpowering them. It would shut off during high music playback. So I ended up, after demoing quite a few Buckeye systems and talking with Dylan, I I went ahead and ordered the largest mono blocks that Buckeye has, which is the 2500 watt mono blocks. So that's what powers the mids and the highs on the RTJ setup now.
Oh, got you. Okay.
yeah,
Is
So
wasn't he
that
on your show? He was on your show recently, wasn't
yeah, Dylan was just on the other night. Yeah.
he? Yeah. I was checking that out.
So no, good stuff. Great power, and a lot of his stuff gets tested third party. So and he's big in the community with answering questions and hanging out with everybody. So I like to support that.
He seemed like a cool dude too.
Yeah, super laid back, and the way that he builds his stuff is kind of crazy too because a lot of it's plug and play. So like if it's out of warranty and something breaks, he'll just sell you the part that broke and just ship it to you at like cost, and you can change it yourself if you want. So like, I mean, not many companies are doing stuff like that.
so your 2 channel setup, are those bass drivers? Are those the same subs that are in your home theater with just mids and tweeters attached to them?
So the RTJ towers are the same ones that Gene from Audioholics had in his room that was next to his RBHs. So those are the sealed 18-inch version.
The ones I have, Shane, I have 4 of them. Like
Yeah,
same.
they're the same subs that Don has. So in the
Oh,
RTJ
gotcha.
stuff,
Okay.
they're modular. It goes sealed 18-inch sub, and then 4 10-inch drivers and a two-way coaxial in the middle, and then another 18-inch sub at the ceiling. So they stay in about 7.5 feet tall.
Got you. So that's like floor to ceiling, basically, in
Yeah,
your
floor
house.
to ceiling, four 18s. Each 18 sees 2,400 watts, and then now the middle section sees 2,500 watts.
Wow. I heard those speakers. They're amazing. I mean, you talk about concert level sound, but accurate, clean. It's a wonderful setup.
Yeah, and they're here because of CAD. It was super strange when we moved into this house. One of her selling points to me, because she came to look at it, I was at work, and she's like, "Oh, they got a nice basement. You know, you can do whatever you want down there with all your toys." So I
Yep.
was like, "Yeah, that's cool. You know, whatever." And it got everything out of her living room because she likes to have pretty living rooms and stuff like that. So when RTJ was releasing those speakers, and I was buddies with Tony, that actually works for GTR now. Um, I talked to Jeff, and he goes, "Hey, I'll send the new RTJs out to you, and Tony will set them up, and then after your get together, then we can just, then we'll just pack them up, and you guys can send them back to me." I was like, "Yeah, that's cool. Everybody love to check them out." So Tony came by a night or two before the big get together. We set everything up, and then me and Kat stayed up all night till like 2 a.m. drinking, playing with them, and listening like Metallica, Dave Matthews, all the stuff that we both get into that we've seen live multiple times. And at the end of like 5 or 6 hour listening session, Kat goes, "Man, I know I was really looking forward to, you know, your stuff not being all over the room." She's like, "But I really enjoy these speakers." She's like, "I know they're expensive, and we won't talk about that part." She's like, "But let's just have them stay." She's like, I really like them, and which kind of blew me away. So we had the event. Then my dealer for those was Desert Dome, um, Boker, and said, "Hey, man, I need these to stay." And he goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, it's Cat's call." He's like, "Oh, that's cool." So rest is history. We'll keep them until the termites eat the boxes. So
So what do you do? So what do you do for her that she lets you have all the speakers and stuff? Do you get her bags and shoes or something like that? Like, what do you
well,
do?
that's on the OnlyFans, Shane. You gotta subscribe, brother. um,
Do you want to know more?
yeah.
Subscribe.
Well, basically, Cat and I's relationship, I've it's basically, if I'm gonna spoil myself, I just make sure she's spoiled too. So she runs the household, takes care of everything with the kids. I mean, we live in a beautiful home that literally she's completely busted her ass with, stripping down every single cabinet, sanding, painting, staying up all night, doing trim work, all this other shit. And, I go out and make the bread. But, when it comes to, you know, enjoying things like I do at the theater, she got her Jeep that she wanted. She wanted a sound system in the Jeep. Her best friend lives out in Vegas. She takes multiple trips. So I just, make sure she has a good time, enjoys it. It's certainly not all about me. It's like a us thing. So she enjoys certain stuff. I enjoy certain stuff. And if we're both getting what we want, then there's really no complaints.
So I want to know who bought her that like angel outfit from Vegas.
No, she did.
Oh, she
Yeah,
did. Was
Don, I
that
would
another?
like. You
Is
think
that another present
What
for
are you
you?
talking? What are you talking about?
Oh, dude, she's got like this hot ass, crazy,
Oh
big tall
boy.
boots and like angel wings. Ah, dude. So what?
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
she can get dialed up real nice. And well, because we go with a bunch of friends down to Cancun, and they have like theme nights, like neon night, space night, rodeo night, and that night was like angels and demons or something. So she likes to play dress up, and hey man, all for it. I
What are you dressing up as?
Back to our OnlyFans shit. No,
God,
um, it's hard. I'm 6'4", 270 pounds. It's hard to find really sexy outfits, Shane.
Well, you guys could do. You could get her the Princess Leia bikini. You could get the Jabba outfit, like
The
do the whole
Jabba
Star
outfit
Wars role play,
for him.
like skinny Jabba.
For me,
You
I'll
want him
send
to,
you
you
the-
want him to dress up as
You're gonna wear
Jabba?
the bikini with the fucking things on your head. That
wow, this got weird.
I would actually, I would sign up to see that, dude.
Wow, that really changes our friendship, Don.
Well, I didn't want to say Han Solo because you can carbonite. You could do, I don't know.
What have you watched? What have you watched lately in your theater, Scott? That you found was impressive.
Well, I just got done rewatching Saving Private Ryan because I want to do a movie review on that. And Fury, it's strange because now that I'm doing some YouTube stuff now, that I find myself in the theater not enjoying the theater so much that I'm going live and hanging out with somebody, or going live like hanging out with you guys, or shooting a video talking about a movie review. So I'll actually watch a movie instead of getting lost in the movie. I'm like, oh, that sounded really good, or oh, let me rewind that. How was that Atmos in that scene? So it's kind of silly now, but I've been trying to make a point going forward that I'll actually come downstairs and not try to do any of that and enjoy stuff. But I just watched Saving Private Ryan, Fury, um, Overlord. So nothing super new. Because
Yeah.
if people ask me to give my thoughts and reviews and like some RTA readings and stuff like that on that, so that's I was just kind of fulfilling some questions.
There's
Or
not much new stuff that's good.
yeah,
Scott, there's a lot of new stuff that's good. It says most people don't watch the good stuff.
Like Joker 2.
Joker 2.
are you smiling, Don?
I was like watching it going, Shane was just being Shane, dude, trying to mind screw me into watching this dang thing. You know what I
Did
mean?
it work?
How many?
I did. I wanted watching it.
I'll put up a poll here. See how many
maybe I was
people.
high. I don't know.
How do I do a poll? We're gonna find out how many people watch Joker 2.
Yeah, how many people liked that abortion?
I didn't watch it. I enjoyed the first one. I mean, it was a little creepy, the first one, but I mean, I watched the first one.
Yeah. Lady Gaga was good in it for a nut job.
Yeah, there you. Did you watch Joker 2? What else you got coming up? What other movies you got coming up? You should watch. What just came out that I just watched recently? Constantine was good. I just reviewed Constantine. That'll probably sound good in your system. Wolfman would probably sound really good too. That had a lot of bass in it too. If you
God,
like,
that was another
surround.
gem of a movie.
Wolfman?
Yeah.
Did you see it? You didn't see it. You saw it at the theater? Oh, you saw the bootleg. Okay, you saw it on Plex. Okay.
No, I saw it someplace. You Shane.
I got some guys coming over here in a couple weeks, so it's weird. I watch a lot of demo reels and put demo reels together, and I don't know. I haven't actually, man, sat down, and I just got the room like completely finished too after putting in the new RTJ in ceilings, and so I'm like, I need to rewatch all my movies. I haven't really had a chance, so the room for now is done. I mean, unless the projector breaks from being shaken around. So,
I was gonna ask you that. What kind of mount you got that thing on, dude?
well, it's on a Chief mount, but it's on one of those anti-vibrational. It's like a mount made for
Right.
like a bar or whatever, like. But during intense scenes or playback, it still shakes like crazy. That's the oldest thing in the room besides me. But I'm just like, if I break a 4-year-old JVC projector, I'm not going to be super upset. But if I break a brand new one, I'll be very upset.
What was that guy that was on your page that just built those two 33s with the Pierce audio? I bet that
Oh
thing.
yeah,
That's going to be a monster.
No,
Dude.
those aren't Pierce. Those were damn. What
No,
subs were
those
those?
are Pierce. He's talking about
Were
the
they?
shared on my Facebook group. The other
Oh,
33s are B2 audio that Steve made. That
yeah.
me and him, yeah, I had hooked him up with speaker power for those amps. Um,
Yeah, those Pierce drivers are no joke.
yeah, that guy builds all kinds of DIY stuff. I mean, he's got all kinds of cool stuff going on. So I think he lives somewhere out by California or Texas or something.
We had
There.
Pierce Audio on a stream because they did the 21 for RBH to RBH's specs. So RBH is going to be coming out with a 33, and they're going to modify that one, make it a little cleaner, like a little more, because that's kind of a for commercial
Mhm.
applications. And they're going to take it and add RBH's specifications and modifications to it. They didn't go into detail what that is, but they want to make it super musical and super clean. That's going to be a beast made out of or HDF. Oof.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll be getting the first one.
Yeah, you need it. How many subs you got, Gene, total in your room, your theater room?
Who? Scott?
No, Shane.
Huh?
Oh, what do we got? I think I got 9 in mine. Yeah, I got 9. Wait, do I have 9?
9 duels or 9?
5, 6, 7. No, I got 8 subs.
Down the 21?
Yeah, I got 4 on the front wall. No, 5 on the front wall, 3 on the back wall. So I got 8.
That's pretty cool.
6, 7, 8. Yeah.
You still got that 18 in there?
I sold the PSA. I sold that last week. Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah. I'm sure you shed a tear.
It was an end table here for a while in the office. So that's good. I sold it to a buddy of mine. He likes it. I told him to high pass it at about 20 hertz just to keep it from bottoming out.
I had a room full. I had 14 PSA subs in here like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you like them?
I had a lot of fun. Before that I had like 10 SBS subs in here, so I like they had more output and they went deeper. It's a different driver than what PSA's using now because those were more of a long throw driver with the thick. I enjoyed them. I really thought that I was set on my end game, and then I went and auditioned the JTR stuff, and then it's weird because I went to Expona, and then I didn't even meet Jeff. I mean, I knew who he was, and me and my dad went there and experienced the setup. And on the way home, my dad was like, "Man, you're probably gonna end up with all that JTR stuff." And I never turned the PSAs back on again. I went home and listed everything for sale, and yeah, I couldn't get that experience. I couldn't forget about it, so I had to sell everything.
There's few subwoofers on earth that sound near as good as the JTR's RTJ. I mean, there's other great subs, but they're exceptional. They just really are.
Yeah, for me to change my whole setup and get this invested, and I've had a lot of. We've had this talked on. I had the Gotham in here. I had the Paradigm Sub 2. I've had the Clips THXs. I've had I had the PV16s when they first. I bought those sight unseen when they were first getting released, and I did a bunch of PSA, and man, we just did a lot of shit. But I don't know, nothing compared to what I got going. I got a lot of them now, but for that violence that I was looking for, yeah, it was.
How do you describe your subs? They're violent.
Yeah, this is and for when I had all the SVS, I was still entertaining people. People would come by and check out the SVS stuff. I had 100 people come by, 200 people come by, check out the PSA stuff. But with the JTR stuff, it's literally the first time we've had multiple people just walk out of the room like, "Hey, man, it's hard for me to breathe in there, or I'm really sick to my stomach. I can't do this." So we've had like maybe 12, 14, 15 people that have walked out, and it's a weird thing to say, be like, "Well, I think that's kind of cool." But they come over because they want an extreme experience. They're like, "Hey, man, I drove 8 hours. I want to see what 14 or 16 or 18 or 20 18s or whatever, how many subs I had at that time." And everybody's like, "Hey, I've never experienced that before." And
everybody wants to fly with the Blue Angels until they do it.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people are like, well, why would you invest all this money and do all this? Well, so I built multiple setups over. I mean, I've been in this literally my whole life, and it's funny thing. Kat and I joke about this all the time, but some of my first memories as a kid is walking with my old man through like a pawn shop or electronics store. So it's definitely been in my blood forever. So finally, I was in a position in life to where I could build what, in my mind, an ultimate setup, and that included in every other setup I've had, the base has always been the limiting factor. So I was like, I want to build something that even scares me, and I think that I finally achieved that, and it's I don't know, it's been a lot of fun, and it does scare me to a point, and certainly the people that come over they get a shot. We've had it's funny. My buddy Bill had it on his phone. He brought one of his buddies over, and he caught him on a live, and he jumped up and grabbed his heart and fell down outside of the room. And it was a little dramatic, but I think it was authentic. But he was then he just went upstairs and drank a bunch of tequila.
Tell everybody what you have on the wall right outside your theater room.
Oh, the heart, yeah, defibrillator, yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Like that's serious bass right there when you got a defibrillator, just in case.
Well, we did it kind of as a joke. So we did it kind of as a joke, obviously, but now everybody's got to sign insurance waivers and stuff like that because going back to Shane's point of like, hey, you having strange people in your house. So a buddy of ours flew up from Florida just for the day and then flew back, and he's a lawyer, and he asked me, he goes, hey, has anybody ever like tried to sue you, for like, ear ringing or like heart palpitations or anything like that? I was like, no. He's like, dude, this would be a super easy case for like me to win. He goes, I'm just giving you a heads up. Everybody's your friend until they're not.
Mm.
He's like, you should really have something drawn up. So now we have an official letter drawn up that, hey, at any point in time, you could be exposed to harmful SPL, and they have to sign and date it. That not saying that maybe there's not a workaround, but at least I have something to be like, hey, I warned this person that, because like where I'm sitting now, I got 618s right on me, and all running off 240 volt. There's a lot of SPL, and it could possibly do some hearing damage. We're not ignorant to that fact, but I think if you're booking a flight and you're getting a hotel, I think you should know what you're in store for before you do that. But some people aren't, I guess.
You had recently went to an acoustically transparent screen. How are you liking that difference?
I love it. Your mind is an extremely powerful thing, and so I became friends with Chris Seymour years ago. Go to like M-Wave or Exponent, you'd see Chris hanging around, and I've had him on a live stream before too. And I was for years the center right below the screen. I'm like, dude, it sounds so great, but I think it was just a mind thing. Like, hey, I know that my speakers blow there, and that is it right? It can be better. So then when I did it, I don't know if it was so much the change of just the speakers being where they're supposed to be, or that my mind just something clicked as like, oh, well, that's where it's supposed to be. So of course it sounds better. But either way, it certainly elevated the experience, and it cleaned up the front end. All the speakers are now completely identical. And everything. I don't know. Everything's great. It was a great investment. It certainly put my mind at ease just knowing that it's set up the way it's supposed to be.
Didn't you change your bed layer?
Yeah, I switched over to the new 2025 models of the JTR 210 HTs. So I got 5 of those, left, center, right, side surrounds, and then on the back is the 110 HTs, and then in the ceiling is 4 of the RTJ 110s. So they're all 10-inch. So there's a total of 16 10-inch drivers, and then they all got the horns on them.
How does everything sound at just normal movie watching levels?
Oh, great. It's, if you watch some of like Youthman's videos where he gets people's impressions or reactions, or even now that we started the Home Theater Chronicles on our channel, to where we're just asking people what they thought of the experience. is I always hear the same thing, that everything to them is exceptionally crystal clear, and that they've never had an Atmos experience to where they're like really thought they were in the middle of a thunderstorm. So, um, no, it's I. It might be cliche to say, but I have no idea how it could be better than this. I mean, I could do a new house build, and I would have ideas of starting from scratch. But I mean, with how we're set up right now, I mean, I couldn't be happier. I think it sounds great at all volumes.
What's your crossover at on all those speakers? Because I would assume those are pretty beefy main speakers and surround speakers.
Yeah. Well, another thing with my OCD, so I'm definitely the guy, and you can ask Kat. Is I'll the guy that's up till three o'clock in the morning when I got to leave for work at 4:30, and I'm running roof sweeps in the basement, changing every little thing, positioning, distance, crossovers, add an EQ, take an EQ away, time alignment, everything for everything to be exactly perfect. But as of right now, the way that it sits, um, all the dual 10-inch speakers are at 80 hertz, and the 110s are at 90 hertz, just because that gives me the best response in the room. But yeah, the dual 10s down here, I mean, high sensitivity, 2000 watt, they take up to 2 gauge wire. Yeah, I mean, insanely, overbuilt on everything with those guys from Jeff.
You should do 3 of the RTJ Tower centers behind the screen.
So you said you got 2 gauge going to all your speakers?
No, I don't, but they accept up to 2 gauge.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, all the speakers I are all 14 gauge that I just ran through the floor when I built the room. Yeah, no, but it's just comical that you see the speaker and it's got these huge lugs on the back that take up to 2 gauge wire. Just and then for your surround speakers you got 2000 watt RMS. It's just when I got to do the JTR headquarters walkthrough, and when I really first met Jeff, and he's like, "Yeah, you can come, check it out." When he was in Wisconsin, he used to only be an hour and a half away from me, and I was like, "This is insane." He's like, "Yeah, I just kind of go overboard with everything," and I was like, "Yeah, this is," because I had the Klipsch THX Ultra speakers
Yeah.
before I went JTR, and I love those speakers, and I blew a couple horns in those, and I had them apart, replaced the crossover. And when I replaced the crossover net, it's just this little thing that you hold in your hand. And then when I walk through the
Yeah,
JTR,
yeah, they're
it's been,
crazy.
so I'm holding this huge ass crossover in my hand. I was like, dude, this is insane. He's like, oh yeah, and he goes, but that speaker takes 2 of those. Here's the other one. And he goes, those are for the 3. I'm like, yeah. So it certainly opened my eyes to the more, I don't know, just obviously with clips and stuff like that, and they make good speakers, bad speakers, whatever everybody does. But when I got to see like how some of these more hardcore companies go about building their stuff, I was like, dude, there's some serious shit going on with this
Dude,
kind of stuff.
his crossovers are a work of art. So funny, Jeff story. First time a few years ago, him and his family came down to stay, and they stay at the house with us. And Jeff's like, "Do you mind if we don't talk about audio tonight?" I'm like, "Totally, dude. Let's just hang out, watch a movie, talk about family and all that." And then year before last, I drove up to Audio Advice, and we went by and stayed with Jeff and him at his just amazing new place in South Carolina. And I got to see his crossovers, and I mean, it's just serious business, dude. But we got shitty drunk one night, and Jeff was like the genius came out, dude. And he was drawing on napkins and breaking it down. It was awesome, man. I'm like, I thought you didn't want to talk about audio. Cool. He's a really cool dude.
Yeah, it's cool because like he does, he's got a family like I do, and obviously running his business, and I know what that's like too. So, but it's cool that for the last few years he's even came, from 12 hours away to make our big events and hang out with everybody. So, I mean, that's awesome. From, being friends and enthusiasts, that's super cool. But yeah, when he clicks on that super genius mode,
Oh, dude.
yeah, then you kind of get lost a little bit. But it's certainly entertaining to hear like the thought process that goes behind, how like waveguides are made and how they're doing crossovers and like changing lay inductors, and just doing all that and for like literally like that last ounce of performance or for a better measuring. It's kind of cool that somebody actually cares enough, I guess, to go to that route to
He
make sure you're getting a cool product.
he's a real quiet, mellow dude, man. But when he gets going on the audio, it's really cool
Yeah.
to be part of that because he really is a genius. I mean, he's super smart guy.
Oh yeah, I just did Hunter Killer. I seen Derek. I didn't, because I'm used to using StreamYard chain. I'm like, holy shit, look at all these comments over here. I didn't even see most of those come up. Yeah, Hunter Killer was a good time, man. I've
I
watched
liked
it
it.
a few times.
What do you feel that you're gonna upgrade next if you have the need to, or do you think this is it? You're done for now, unless he releases something else.
Well, I think I think we're cool with the theater and the 2 channel setup. All that's good. We will do the Kalo setup in the other room. That'll be the next big expenditure, and just making that other living room more inviting. I mean, literally, we walked from the second floor right into that living room, and nobody. We bought that couch in there brand new 5 years ago, and it still looks brand new because nobody cares to sit in that room. There's nothing. There's a TV in there. There's just nothing cool going on in that room.
You'll probably use that a lot more.
Oh yeah, because Kat and I are both huge into music because the RTJs are always playing music, but we're also big fans of music concerts. So
Mhm.
I think there's already a TV in there. We'll just grab like a Denon or a Marantz receiver, grab 5 of the Kalo speakers, 2 or 4 of the Kalo subs, depending on what those are when they release them, and it'll just be a nice. And we do enjoy entertaining when we have time for like game nights or cards or whatever. I think it'll be a good use of that space, but. No, that man, the theater and the 2 channel room are just. I would literally just be spending money to spend money at this point. The theater will. I'm sitting in the theater now. I will need a new projector one day. I'm sure. So that'll probably be the next big expenditure for this space.
How are
Having
you?
multiple.
How are you playing all your demos in your theater when people come over? Like, what device are you using?
Um, I just moved up to a 4-head JVC VCR Super VHS, and you can tell where I blotched it together. But I mean, most people are super cool about Dolby Pro Logic and VHS, so we're good. Um, no, so even though they're out of business pretty much now, but and the only reason I use it is for playing demo reels is a PD 4K HDR
Yep.
off a hard drive. So super convenient because if I got people over, I can just start a 20-30 minute demo, leave the room, set a timer on my phone, and then check back in with them when it's done. But yeah, all the demos are hard drive and Zapedi.
No desire to get a Kaleidoscape.
Um, I love how the Kaleidoscape menus and all that stuff works. I don't know. I'm a cheap ass that isn't a cheap ass because I understand the draw to a K-scape because I think the K-scape is a cool piece it's a cool toy to have. I mean, obviously everything we have in our rooms are toys. It's just this is how I looked at it: is do I want to buy another sub or do I want to buy a K-scape? Do I want to buy another? Do I want to buy monoblock amps? So I've always just convinced myself to use that money on something else. I think once I run out of excuses, then I'll buy one. I know a lot of people get caught up in like, oh, it's too expensive. I mean, like any niche product, shit gets expensive. That is what it is in any hobby. Um, but it's a cool toy. I've played with plenty of them. I'll have one day.
I do. It's only like $4,000. Come on, that's like half a sub.
No, it's like 3/4 of a sub. Um, now,
22.
what's that?
22. You got to go for 22 in the room.
Yeah, but the thing that sucks is if I've already blown so I got a quote to run another 200 amp service into the house because I was like, if I want to move to a 160 dB, I'm gonna need more power because we can already blow the whole service to the house, but I don't know how committed I am to that because to run a whole nother service I'm in for like 25 grand,
Oh my God, 25
Wow.
grand?
you know.
Wow, it's expensive up in Chicago.
Yeah, you gotta. They have to run a whole nother separate service off of the pole. It's yeah,
Mm, it's a lot.
it's and just to fight for the last couple dB, and that literally, Don and Shane, like that gets used never. I mean, I
Right.
don't just come down in this room and just listen to insane levels of. I mean, I enjoy a spirited session like anybody else. The only time it ever really gets insane is during the big events, and people have literally gone out of their way and spent a ton of money to get here, and they want to check that out just to see what it's like. But yeah, I'd have to make a huge, huge commitment to do that. So I see
No, I
somebody
don't
here,
blame
Scott. You need more subs, man. See, these are my kind of people. Uh,
So the other half of your basement, you said, is what is it, like kids' room or something like that? The playroom or something?
yeah, so I got a little one. She's 7. Um, and this is Kat's genius mind at work. So up, like even in upstairs of our house, we did all this custom woodworking that her and I did ourselves, but all cut to her like specifications, and we hung it. And then she built an old time grocery store in the basement and a huge like dollhouse that's 7 feet tall. I was just
it.
the cut and nail guy. But we also, and we got like 7 or 8 arcade games like Ninja Turtles and Terminator and stuff in there. I did that for a lot of reasons. One, obviously, for the SPL that I wanted to do, but it was also if I want to go downstairs and enjoy the theater, I need something that attracts the little one to come downstairs to hang out too. So then she'll go in there and play with the room and bounce in and out in the theater if I'm messing around with stuff. So I think this, I think it'll stay the way that it is for now. And when she gets older, say in a couple of years, and she don't really care about that room anymore, then I don't know. I don't want to make the theater bigger because then I got to buy more subwoofers. So
Yeah, you're gonna do that. I got a feeling. Once that kid grows, your daughter grows. Was it daughter? Son?
yeah, yeah, daughter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she into that stuff? Does she like what you do?
Um, it's funny because I have videos on my phone from when she was like 3 or 4. She'd run in the room and hug a speaker. I love these speakers, but now because she's scared of them because she's been upstairs when I've given a demo and it just completely destroys the upstairs of our house. So she's scared of them now. So she she'll come downstairs. She's like, "Daddy, you're not gonna listen to it loud, and you're not gonna break the whole house, right?" So but yeah, I mean, the upstairs of this house doesn't. It was funny because Kat tried to shoot a video in the living room above this theater, and she couldn't shoot the video. She said that all the movement made her so sick she thought she was going to throw up.
Eh. What's your neighbor situation like? Do you even have neighbors? What's that?
Yeah, I got an older couple to one side of us that's retired. I've never really had an issue with them. We just got new neighbors to the other side of us, and so basically when they moved in, I said, "Hey, I'm an audio guy." I said, "Here's my number. If something ever bothers you, just shoot me a text." I said, "Once in a great while, I listen to some music pretty loud because I am part of this community where we all hang out once in a while." And they've been living there for about a year, and I've never. I'm also the neighborhood plumber. I've helped out some of the people around here too,
Damn.
and nobody's ever gotten a bill. But so yeah, like
Smart.
I think it's just a respect thing. I mean, is I know that it can be obnoxious. Obviously, I just never really anything before like 10 a.m. and nothing after like 8. So I try to be respectful about that.
Yeah.
And with the theater being in the basement, that certainly helps. You know, I've played a movie at reference and walked out around the house. You can barely tell that anything's going on, inside the house. I've also really cranked it up, and you can go outside. You can definitely tell there's a lot going on in the house. But
Yeah.
like I said, that doesn't really. Yeah, like Kat just put on there, he invites them to the food truck. She's right because every time we throw a big event, I have a different food truck pull up, makes food for everybody at the event, and I tell the neighbors, "Hey man, come! Everything's already paid for. Come grab yourself some food." So I just try not to be an asshole about
No,
it.
it's super cool, man. You got to. I've had
Yeah,
my neighbors, the guy walking in my front yard. I caught him on my camera. I ran out. I'm like, "Can I help you?" He's like, "Where's that sound coming from, man? It sounds like a war." I'm like, "Oh, it's just the house." Yeah, that's 418s. I can only imagine with 20. Oof.
Yeah, yeah. I had to make nice with my neighbor. Now he's I do the same thing as you do. I'll start watching a movie or something like that after 10 a.m. and then I'll stop around 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So he like plows my driveway and does my sidewalk. So I think we got a
Oh, there you go.
good rapport now.
See, he could come in and check it out, but you don't want nobody in the house.
Yeah, it's true, true. Yeah, he came in the one time after I pissed his wife off. Then he came in like a month later. I was like, well, I said, listen, why don't you come on in and let me show you what we're dealing with here. He goes, oh. He peeks his head in. And I was like, okay, I understand now. He goes, yo, those 3 subwoofers. He goes, you know, my house is right there. My bedroom is right on the other side of the wall there. I was like, yeah. He goes, yeah. He goes, listen, I don't care what you do. But sometimes it's like 3 in the morning and we're sleeping and it's like, then the windows are rattling, that it becomes annoying. He goes, but during the day, we've gotten used to it. It's just background noise during the day. So we understand what's going on during the day. It's just that night is when it really, my wife wakes me up. Then I was like,
Well,
okay.
I told you not to buy a mobile home, dude, to get a real house. How close is he?
He's not that, I mean, he's not that close. I feel
You
like,
can see him right now. He's like, well, he's in his living room. I can see him walking through his house.
I thought it was a pretty good lick from your room to their house. That's crazy.
I mean, my sister came over last month and she was like, because I gave my nephew a demo. She was like, oh my, she's like, your TV is going to come off the wall because it's like on the other side. And then she went outside to go walk the dog and she walked up the block. She's like, I can hear your house all the way up the block. He goes, you're going to tell me your whole neighborhood doesn't hear you? I was like, nobody's, I was like, only one person that says something. She's like,
Well, and
it's
you're
insane.
working. You're
Yeah.
demoing. You're doing tests. I mean, it's your job. You know.
Yeah. I've had to tell the neighbor that. I was like, listen, I was like, you got to understand, this is like work for me. I was like, do you need a sound bar? Because I've got a sound bar in my basement I can give you.
Little bit of hush money.
Yeah.
Hey, come here, kid. You need a
Yeah.
sound bar?
You know when Haterade when Jordan came by to do some filming and that he kind of was explaining the same situation as you. He goes, I really upset
Yeah.
my neighbors and I had to like talk with them. Like, hey, I review like some speakers or subwoofers, and that's I do that kind of on the side as a part time gig. And he's like, the guy didn't really understand until I explained it to him. And so I think Jordan was the same thing. He's like, I would kind of watch a movie late at night and I kind of stopped doing that, at loud levels. I was like, yeah, I would never come down and, well, no, I could watch a movie at reference, but I would never have a demo and guys over, cranking it up at 11 o'clock at night. Then I could understand everybody being super pissed. So,
Yeah. Yeah. See, I don't sleep. So sometimes it's like 4 in the morning feels like it's about 2 in the afternoon for me. So,
yeah.
and I just lose track of time. I'm just like cranking it. I'm like, Dune 2. All right, let's go.
But yeah,
So we,
Don messaged me the other day and, I said, hey, did you hear back from Shane? He's like, no, dude, that dude's probably sleeping. He probably stayed up till 6 a.m.
so we got Righteous Builds here. He's got a YouTube channel too. He makes I think he just built a 24-inch SI sub,
Oh,
a
very
pretty
cool.
pretty
I'll
sweet
check that
looking
out.
build that he did. So Scott, what did you do for reinforcement, if anything?
Um, well, I've done some and I'm going to do more. So basically, there's 3 concrete walls in the room that I'm at. So there wasn't much to do with that. The 4th wall that the screen's actually on, so that is double drywalled on both sides, filled with insulation and staggered studs. Solid core door to the room. Now, the mistake that I made when I first built this room, we moved in, I had the Clips GHX set up with SVS subs, and obviously I wasn't pushing the kind of pressure I am now. Um, but the ceiling. So what we're going to do, which I'm going to start after May 3rd, which is the next big base brings us together, is we're gonna double or triple Baltic birch the ceiling. So just because that'll help with my SPL levels. Because in the room above us, I like the last 4 subs I added, and by 4 I mean dual 18s, is we only gained a little bit down here, but we gained quite a bit in the room above the theater. So I need to kind of, because we hit like 142 dB in the room above us. So I need to keep that more in here, and I think that'll help raise up the SPL level. So that'll be the next big thing is either double or triple Baltic birch the ceiling, and that'll seal off the room even more. So there's been some done, but there's more to be done. I just can't tear the room apart now because I got a million things going on, and then plus, I need this room to be in the shape that it's in for the next big get together because people have already bought plane tickets, rented rooms, Airbnbs for that event, and I don't want to take any chance of not being done for that.
When is that
Oh, so
event?
you got the guys like flying into your place. I thought this was like just like a local thing that you got going on.
No, they actually, and it was funny because I just seen Youthman having this conversation with somebody on a different post the other day. Is that most of the people that like Michael met here like drove from a far distance or flew in. Kat and I got to entertain our first out of country. We had two guys come from India a couple months ago. We got a husband and wife coming from Finland for the big event. But no, we've had people, if not from every state in the United States, at least three quarters of them. We've had people coming from Texas, Florida, California. No Alaska, no Hawaii yet because that would have been cool. But yeah, no, we've done. I don't. I have a tally running upstairs, but we've done well over maybe 530 demos.
Wow.
So
Are
yeah,
you charging these people anything?
uh,
Usually?
it's 99 cents for the first episode, and then if you want to watch our live, or oh, you're talking about
Yeah.
this? No,
Get your
no,
mind out of
everything.
the
um, no, that was kind of the big thing with us is we wanted how I feel, and people try to pay me for like the food net because food truck comes out feeds 80, 90 people. It costs us like $1,000 or whatever, and people try to give you like $20 or. And I'm like,
No.
dude. I mean, in all honesty, if you took time off work or from your family and you flew here, you rented a car or you drove and spent, who the hell am I to take 10 or 15?
Oh,
Like,
dude.
like you went so far out of your way to come hang out with us. And the gear is obviously cool. Everybody loves the gear, but we talk to
Oh,
everybody that comes here, and almost everybody's like, I just wanted to come and hang out with other enthusiasts. Like, I have nobody to hang out with and like break bread or have a beer with. Like, just hanging out here all day talking
Aww.
to people is it's and that's how we coined that phrase. Base brings us together because everybody came for the base and they stayed for the friendship.
yeah, you're one of the best
Aww.
human beings I know, dude. So
Yeah.
I'm opening my house up next Friday during the Florida after the Florida first day of the Florida Audio Expo, just to do a hangout, listen to some different systems. A couple influencers will be here, manufacturer. We're just gonna hang out, eat, have some beverages available, and it should be a good time, man. I
I'm gonna be in
enjoy,
Vegas next week. I can fly right from Vegas right to your house.
dude. I got room for you. I'll make room.
My wife was always like, "Why don't you?" She's like, "What are you doing today?" I was like, "I'm at the house." I was like, "You know what I'm doing?" She's like, "Why don't you ever have friends come over so you can use your movie theater with? Like, what?" I was like, "The only friend I got is you." I was like, "I only
I don't
need
have any
you."
friends.
Where do you live, Shane?
I'm in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everybody's far. It seems like nobody's interested in this stuff around here,
We we
at least
we
that I
get
can
that
find.
a lot of our. It's surprising that when people come here, they're like, I can't believe you guys do this. Like, I've had my home theater for 10 years, and other than my family, nobody's ever seen. Like, people tell you these stories, and I I guess Chicagoland has a big group of people, so I mean, it wasn't too hard to find fellow enthusiasts around here, but. I know I enjoy the community. I mean, hanging out with you guys, or I'm always texting somebody or doing a video call with somebody. It,
It's
it,
fun.
it it is fun. It can be frustrating. It can be expensive and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, it is a lot of fun.
It People don't understand how much work, like whether you're reviewing or hosting people over. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. Yes, we're enthusiasts at the end of the day. I mean, look at what Shane built his whole theater. I was talking to him almost every day as he was building this thing by hand, lifting these heavy subs, making his own treatments. He did a really good job, man. He kicked ass on it, but he put a lot of work into that, and I don't think people appreciate that.
It is everything. It
Oh,
the behind the scenes stuff is, like when Haterade was in town, and we were just talking about, like, people don't see that we just drove 4 hours, and that we filmed for 6, 7, 8 hours, and then drove another four, and that we're living for 4 days off of like 3 hours of sleep at night. They just see his finished video and they're like, "Wow, that's a cool video," but they don't have any idea that 15
yeah.
hours went into that hour video. So
And editing and everything. Yeah,
yeah,
it was
so
crazy.
it's cool to have the behind the, like how we were hanging out before this live feed started. All that behind the scenes stuff is super cool. So,
Yep.
but it is work. I mean, everybody takes time out of their schedule to do stuff like this. So, gotta
No,
appreciate everybody's time
you're a
and
great
effort.
ambassador for the hobby, dude. And I hope you have continued success. And I'm sure you will. I mean, you'll be at 100,000 followers. And as you get some more resources, a little more time, you'll be able to expand and do more stuff. I love you do the car stereo thing. Like we were talking in the show before, they're going to have a whole car stereo contest and show in the parking lot of the Florida Audio Expo, which I think is kick ass because I started in car audio and I think you did too, Sky. That's super cool that they're doing that. Hats off to them.
Yeah, that's like I was telling you before the show. We did our first Bass Brings Us Together car show, and it got shut down, and I felt terrible because we had a lot of people drive from far away for that event, and they shut that shit down. So even though we had proper permits and licenses and all that shit, but I don't know. I'm gonna rent an airfield or something. I don't know if I'm gonna tackle that this year or next year, but we got a local airfield that'll let me rent it out. I just got to figure out the logistics and cost. And dude, we got to. When I say that my job is demanding, my job is literally 24/7. Not every night, but almost every night, I get woke up in the middle of the night with a text or a call for emergency and stuff like that. So I just got to find. This is supposed to be the hobby, the fun part of it. So if I can find time to throw more events or bigger events, I will. It's just, man, only so much time in the day. Kat says, "Don, you're such a cheerleader. Love it." Oh, did you send her that picture, Don? Are you in that cheerleader outfit?
Shh, dude. We agreed
I
not to talk about that. What the
I,
hell,
I
Scott?
threw up
No, no,
my
no, no.
TV dinner when I seen that.
Oh, Scotty, it's a fun. It's a fun. You blow my mind. Hey, Scotty. Sorry, cat. Yeah, dude, I'm just friends with you to get the cat.
Dude, I just seen 37 people log off as soon as you started singing, Don.
I don't
Man,
blame him.
what's
I
up
don't
with
blame
that,
him.
bro?
I'll log off too. Hey, next on Monday on my live stream on Audioholics, I have Aaron from Aaron's Audio Corner confirmed, and we're gonna have him on. Man, that's gonna be a good time. Really love Aaron.
That would be, yeah. I won't be able to catch. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna be really drunk Monday night gambling.
Okay, no, you catch it later. With the magic of technology, it'll be available.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I'll definitely watch it. It'll be a good
we'll
one.
do like a in-depth interview with him, talk about his system, how he does it, what is the clipple.
Oh,
I think he's misunderstood by a lot of people. You know, he listens, and so he's objective and subjective. And if you meet Aaron, he's a really cool guy, super intelligent, man. I think he's an aerospace engineer. I mean, it should be fun.
oh,
But,
dude, you could have three-hour long conversations with that guy with all his
oh,
knowledge. I mean, I've never chatted with him personally.
he's cool.
Um,
What's Shane doing?
I I don't
What's
know.
wrong? So yeah,
What's
Aaron's
going
been in
on?
my house, dude.
Were you just ordering a pizza? I said sausage and pepperoni,
Chinese pizza. We got pizza.
thick crust, mom, meatloaf.
Oh, dude, as soon as we get off the air, Shane goes from, yeah. He goes, oh, that was a very good stream. It just all comes out, dude. It's like a total act. He's Barry White, and then he's, Jackie Chan.
What was I gonna say? So what's are you planning on reviewing any other like stuff on your channel? Like what's your end game goal with your channel?
So I think so. Like when I started this, and I think I'm going to stay pretty true to that. Is because I've had people wanting to send me subwoofers or remote controls or I don't know. A few places have reached out to me. I don't really have a lot of interest. I mean, there's a lot of good reviewers. You know, like Shane, you review a lot of stuff, and there's other good reviewers. I think that I'll talk about the stuff that I have and like tuning and just stuff like that. And I think the big thing that we're just going to do with our channel is share the events that we have and get people's thoughts and their experiences and like what people have and what they think of this. Or because what we've noticed a lot is like people haven't got to experience like Dolby Atmos, so it's cool to just get their raw emotion and be like, man, this is what I think. Because like if I was sitting at home and didn't have Dolby Atmos, I want to hear what the next guy that's never experienced has to say about it. So I just think if I'm already going to be going out of my way to have people over and do the demo day or the demo night or have a group of guys over, that if I just throw that on some kind of footage, do some light editing, leave it raw, leave it unfiltered, and just let people enjoy that natural experience, is then it doesn't take a lot of effort on my part and it gives back to the community because I personally love watching other people talk about their experience. Like, oh, you know, I've never, this acoustic screen is amazing, or I've never been in a dedicated space, or I've never had anything more than just a 5-channel setup, or I've never, you know, seen a K-scape in action. And I enjoy that. So I just want to kind of give back to the community in that way. So what we're going to offer at you know at Bass Brings Us Together is not only hosting, inviting people over, and hopefully you know keeping that cost of nothing to the fellow enthusiast. And people say, well, how do you make money to run the channel? Which is true. It does cost money to run the channel, have events, buy beers, buy food, and do all that other stuff. I mean, we're lucky enough to have, you know, some sponsors, and we're, you know, we sell shirts and you make a few bucks. But at the end, you know, you obviously make a few bucks off of YouTube views and that. So we're fortunate enough to where it doesn't really, we're not really making any money, but it's also not costing us any money. Yeah, so it's I get to enjoy the hobby, share it with everybody, and now we're just at a point where it doesn't cost me any money anymore. So that I think for me as a hobbyist that that's a good place to be.
Just in the future, maybe in your next movie review or something like that, the way you have your camera framed right now, please do that in the future, because usually you're like sitting in the middle of the screen, way in the bottom of it, and all I see are these 18-inch drivers. I'm like, where's Scott at? I was like, oh, he's just a little dot.
Well,
in the
those are
bottom of the
good to
screen.
look at. This, depending on what you're drinking for the day, can be kind of rough. So
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Michael too for all the help. He is so incredibly helpful to people trying to get their own channel going and whatnot. I know he helped you. He's just wonderful. And, you know, I know he helped Jordan and a bunch of people. I mean, I love that about the guy.
yeah, Michael. I mean, Michael stayed at our house multiple times, and we've sat down in the theater till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and didn't even have none of the equipment on, just talking about life, about you know, wife, kids, you know, future of just life, and yeah, all you know. When I first got started, he's certainly been a huge help, and even to this day, if I, you know, for these guys that do this stuff on the regular, you know, like the Youth Man and the Shane Lees and those guys, I mean, to me that just does this as a hobby on the side. I'm like, shit, what button am I supposed to hit? What am I supposed to, you know, because it's like I I there's still so much to learn for the people that watch all these live feeds, or like the live feeds that I do, or anybody does the reviews. Or like Don said, there's really a lot going on kind of in the background that to put out a decent production certainly takes some effort. So for the guys doing it on the more professional level, Shane, Youth Man, you know, the Steve, me, just any of those guys, I mean, I know what that takes, and I'm multiple steps below all you guys. I'm like, man, those guys are killing it. So it's cool to see these guys killing it.
It's just
We're
hard
just
to work a full-time job and do this.
well, yeah, and you can tell by watching their videos, like, hey, this guy does this for a living. Like it's like watching, you know, a MGM, you know, movie or something like it. It's when you watch mine, it looks like you got drunk in a old rusted out El
Pretty
Camino
much.
and got your ass whooped on the way home. So
Dude, you ever watch Shane's reviews? He's got like the Rolling Stones, like translucent in the background, and like I'm like, look at that shit.
well, I could just tell that Shane's probably got like aromatherapy candles in the background. Like, man, it probably smells really good over there. He's so relaxed. I'm like,
Taylor Swift playing in the background.
so but that's the
wish.
good thing is that we're all at different levels and we all have an audience and you know I don't know it's a cool space to be part of because I get to hang out with guys like you. I get to entertain people, share that with people. So I'm just here for a good time.
And people love you. Look at that. Don't feel underrated. You have a wide bandwidth of confidence, Scott.
Yeah. Hey man, I
Pleasant.
told you that I would pay you $1 for each post, but you're making a lot of posts here, brother. Can I make a payment on those? I'll
You
pay for
must
that
you
next
must see the confidence from your OnlyFans. Excuse me, while I look this up.
Yeah, they call it OnlyFans because I only have one fan.
He's got an only fan.
Yeah, only fan.
That's awesome.
Well, all right. Let's wrap it up here. I'm gonna go get me some dinner. But thanks guys for hanging out with us today. Don, what do you got coming up?
Well, I got Aaron on Monday. Be doing that stream. Then Tuesday I'll be streaming with Giles, and Wednesday I stream in a whole different genre. And hopefully next Thursday we'll have another stream. So I'm streaming full, man.
Oh, streaming full. And what's going on with you, Scott?
I'm leaving for Vegas Sunday morning, so on the channel I'll be sharing some shorts. I might do like a vlog style. Some places they'll allow me to camera gamble, and some they won't. Checking out a couple new bars out there in Vegas. Doesn't really fit with the base stuff we do on our channel, but some people in the community like
living it up with Scott and Kat. That's how it started.
Yeah, of course, and I'll share it to that group as well. So no, and then I got Mark Seaton coming on. We're going to do his 25th anniversary edition of Seaton Sound. So Mark's always a cool guy to hang out with, another smart dude. So no, just a couple
Nice
things.
guy here.
Yeah,
All right.
Mark Seaton usually makes it to most of my events too. We're buddies, and just like Jeff with JTR, these guys, man, they have this shit going on in their head that you can get lost real fast.
Like all the math quotations and shit floating above their head. Hey, what screen are you using? You using a Seymour?
Who, me?
Hmm?
Yeah. I'm using the Seymour, their Ultrafine 2.
Good man. He's another cool dude, Chris, man.
He is a nice dude. But thanks, guys, for hanging out with us today. We are going to catch you probably next week. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Scott's channel. Subscribe to Don's channel. Or check out his show next week on Audioholics. That's on a Monday, where he's going to have